This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Well, fat people, we really hate it. I'm speaking for all fat people. We hate being hot. Show me one fat person that likes being hot, and I'm have some words with them. Like, why are you playing? You don't like being hot, bro.
And co-host Marnie Winfield.
The little things that I appreciate now in life, and this gas station is the gas station of all gas stations.
And what makes it so special?
It's got like a coffee bar in there, kind of.
It is the 2nd of March, 2023. My name's Corey Winfield, and Marnie is working again because we like to eat food and she likes things like a roof over her head. But today, I am with a buddy. I'm on location, and I'm actually using his equipment, or his company's equipment. How would I say that? I'm here with Scott Scholten. Scott, welcome.
Yeah, and thanks, Corey. This is Scott Scholten, Reservation Conversation out here on the Res, Leelanau County. And for all practical purposes, unless accounting listening, this is my equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Pretty happy.
Yeah, I was pretty excited when you told me you were going to start a podcast, and I'm glad that I can help you and get you off on the right foot and be a part of it, man. It's very exciting for me. I like to see people succeed, and the podcasting world is such a huge world now. I mean, they say everybody's got a podcast.
Yeah.
And they do. And some of them suck really bad. And we just didn't want you to suck really bad. Not that it would have sucked, but
No, I don't want to suck. I'm not good at sucking. And the other thing is I'm glad it worked out the way it did, having Corey and 217 involved, because there's several personal reasons. One is, though, for me, obviously, is the fact that we are connected in the local recovery community, and that's it's important. It's an important aspect of my world. Some of the other podcasters that we had talked to, and we're looking for mentorship and some guidance. They're great, and they're amazing people, and they got great podcasts. But there's a critical element that was missing, and that's so ultimately in Scott's world. I'm kind of bougie that way, right?
yeah,
and,
you got to be.
And when we want something, we know that's right. That's what we do, right? That's the direction it goes. It may have been a higher power thing too. Who knows? Who's to say? Needless to say, here we are, right?
Yeah, I do pray a lot, but I don't pray for things like that. I just basically pray for health.
Yeah,
and
I do too. I pray a lot too. Usually on the toilet, and
make it stop.
God, I hope this works out. I hope this works out the way it's supposed to.
Oh, okay. Nah, it was a process,
and doesn't hurt too bad. Yeah,
some things take time, and I'm glad that we're finally able to kind of get this going. Of course, the UFAM rally is coming up in May.
Yeah. What's the date on that again?
The 18th of May.
That's a good date, because the week prior and the week after, I'm on a plane, so that'll be perfect. That week I'll be in a car.
And I haven't really been invited to that. But I'm just going to show up. Like, it doesn't really.
Yep, I'll be the guy right next to you in the parking lot on the front lawn down there, not invited, and setting up all my bougie equipment.
And I know a limo guy that lives in Lansing, and I want him to pick us all up so we can. And I wanted to do this last year, and I don't know why I looked around. And I know this is a podcast and you can't see me, but I seriously just looked around to see if Marnie was going to punch me or to see if I could say something about it. But she didn't want me to do this limo idea. Okay, hear me out, Scott. We roll up, and there's a few hundred people out there on the lawn.
No, I'm from the Res. Limousines are a big deal out here.
So we jump out the limo. We got like boas on and like coats, feather coats, and leather, whatever they're called, fur coats.
Yeah,
and we're looking just like we got music playing. Like, well, I was gonna have Tyrone like play theme music.
Got the wingtip shoes.
So people are like
penny loafers.
Are these wrestlers? Are they celebrities? Like.
We'd be pimping.
And then we should just walk right in to the actual government building there, the Capitol, and just be like, just start walking into an office. Like, this is my office.
What's up?
We're like, hey, that didn't work out so well in Washington.
Right, yeah, right.
Like, no, it didn't. But we're just here.
I like that idea. Bow ties too, by the way.
Yeah, but we all jump out the limo and then just like walk up, like we can walk out with our wireless mics, and just start doing a broadcast right then. Bam, just hit the ground running, like literally.
I like it.
So Let's do it. I'll have to get with Jason. He's the guy who owns, and it's funny because he's in recovery. He'll have 8 years, I think, by then, but he owns a party limousine company. He's like,
It's like the sober guy with the liquor store, you know? Mm-hmm. Richest man at the meeting.
But here's the kicker, too. He's blind.
No.
Going blind, yeah.
No.
Yeah, he can't drive.
That's even better. I guess hence the limousine, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah.
I mean, he has people that drive for him, but it's just like one of those things where it's like you're the owner, you're the company. Like for me, if it hits the wall and it gets, I'm gonna have to go do it, you know. But for him, he'd be like, well, I guess. I mean, I don't think that there's a chance he can do it, but. I'm talking about my friend Jason Vaughter, which he did a podcast with us, and he's on the guest section if you want to check that out on our app, which is free in the App Store and Google Play Store. But yeah, Jason's awesome. And yeah, it'll be fun. And UFAM Rally is a place for people in recovery to get together. I know Adam Brothers, he just started a podcast, the Stone Soup Recovery Podcast. I love seeing him progress, you know, and they say the first one's the hardest because it is. You know, actually getting that first episode out of the way, because for me it was fear, being judged. Like, are people going to say it sucks? Am I going to judge myself? Was it good enough? Or
check.
Yeah,
check. I'm mentally checking off my checklist. Yes,
you get that first one out of the way, and then you realize that was kind of fun, and who cares?
Yeah, you're right.
And people will. There'll be haters out there.
Right. I'm old enough. I don't really care, anyways.
But like, I'm going to help you.
Yeah,
I'm going to critique you. I critique Adam, but I kind of more bust his balls. On his podcast, I'm like, dude, I was going to hit him the other day. Like, they started their podcast, and then all of a sudden this sounded like soprano recorder just out of nowhere. I'm like, bro, you gotta warn somebody. You can't just, hi, I'm Scott. Hi. Yeah. I was like, what is going on with this podcast? And now there's a soprano recorder, and I didn't know if it was a slide whistle. I can't remember what Sean said it really was, but I was like, man, you gotta warn somebody. You can't just be like, hi. Say, hi, I'm Scott.
Hey, I'm Scott.
And I'm Corey. Except with a soprano recorder.
Right.
That's what it was like. But anyway, I just bust his balls. But I know that he appreciates it. And it sounds like I'm making fun of him, but I'm not.
Well, that's exactly the kind of feedback I'm going to want. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, it's just the honest stuff. And, you know, it took me many days in a row of being on the radio doing dumb things. Yeah. My bosses were like, don't do that.
Right.
Does that make sense to you? And that's another thing too, is you'll want it to make sense to you. And one thing that I never did with my audience, and I still do today, is I don't dumb things down. If somebody doesn't get it, they don't get it.
Right.
And you just have to imagine that your audience is intelligent. And there's some things that I will explain but I don't dumb it down.
Right. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to with Reservation Conversation is, the first few episodes anyways, the powers that be willing, pretty much guided by what goes on in the res and today's conversations, right? And not so much throwing information and data at you, rather more of what's really happening, keeping it relevant, right?
Yeah, and I like the name Reservation Conversation. How'd you come up with that, Scott?
Well, there was many different names written down, and of course, none by me. And a lot of suggestions, and of course, none by me. I think I had one, and it was really stupid. And then I don't know. I reached out to a good dear friend of mine, and my boss, Kathy Tattinen, had a really bunch of huge list of names. Of course, none of those worked out, but. The ultimately when we drew down and eliminated A, B, C, D, and E and came up with our final solution, it was one that was actually recommended by you. So thanks for that.
Well, yeah, I guess, but you guys.
And I also have to add for everybody listening that was I think I received that at like 2 a.m. or midnight or something like that. It was Corey stewing over these in the middle of the night and came up with some really cool graphics too. And again, those were all, in PM hours of the night. My phone went ding, ding, and here's Corey texting with some ideas. So I knew he wasn't sleeping.
Yeah. Well, and I think I started before, like, you even offer, or like, we're like, hey, maybe come help us with this. You had mentioned a podcast, and I like at 3 a.m. I don't know why. My wife's always like, I wake up and you're always on your phone. I'm like, That's what Marnie says. But I started sending you stuff. Here, man, this is what you need. Yeah. This is what you need, and here's what I have, and and I just figured people's phones are off, man. And if they're not, then I don't know. But there's times where like if I go back to sleep, I'll forget about it.
Right. No, I do the same thing, and I'll send off a text or an email, and every now and then I do have to apologize later. Sorry about the midnight stuff, but I'll forget. It's got to be fresh, similar to the podcasting. It's got to be fresh and relevant, and right now. So hopefully, when we get our stuff dialed in here and the podcast out on the res here is going to be dialed in, I'll be able to just hopefully wake up and knock out a podcast or two remotely. Also, right? So it's not. I don't want it to be a 9 to 5 thing, because I don't want to feel boxed in. Right? That's the other idea. I don't want to feel boxed in when I'm podcasting. So when we have scheduled guests and everything, sure. But there's going to be topics that I know are going to come up, and it's going to happen like right now.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're in recovery, and you'll talk about recovery, but you'll talk about other things too, and that's what I think is so unique about the things that you're going to be doing and the goals and vision that you have for Reservation Conversation Podcast. Man.
Yeah, spot on.
Because the other day I was trying to make a reservation at this restaurant, right? And man, the lady tried telling me that I needed to get the app and do all this stuff. I'm like, bro, I was like, lady, I just want to eat some food,
Right.
I'm just trying to make some reservations. No, it's not that kind.
No, and it's funny, you can't even go to a drive-through anymore without them asking you, are you using the app today? Not that I go to the drive-through often, but I thought, what, are you out of your mind? No, I just want a burger and something to drink, a strawberry shake and name. But yeah, it's like, no, I'm not using an app for this. I just want to give you a couple bucks and you give me some food.
Well, you can save $2.50 if you just get on the app and give us all your information that we're going to sell to a company who's going to send you all kinds of spam to your email and call your phone all kinds of times of the day and ask if you want your auto insurance renewed.
Yeah, or it's time for new windows.
Yeah. Student loan forgiveness. Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, I thought you guys already took care of that.
Or what's the pizza place they're giving you $3 credit for doing your own driving now? Yeah,
Domino's.
I think it's Domino's. Yeah, they're tipping you, the driver, to go get your own pizza.
Maybe it's not Domino's. I don't know, because they came out with those little electric cars.
Yeah, with the little freaky Domino's guy.
Yeah, and I think Traverse City has one.
They need to bring that back.
What if they had, like, you ever, what's that channel that Kathy was talking about? Kathy's your boss, but there's some channel where people record themselves.
Oh, you mean Sweetheart?
Yeah. But what's the channel that Sweetheart was talking about?
Oh, I can't remember.
It was like Find Me or Film Me.
Oh, yeah.
People making money on that.
Yeah, what was that? Not Cash App, but
only you.
Only somebody.
Fans only.
Only fans.
Or only fans.
With Kathy Tatton. Yeah, I remember now.
Whoa. Yeah, well, we were talking about that. But what if, because I think I saw one of those on something one time where it's like, pizza delivery guys here. But like, what if like you sent like stripper delivery pizza people?
Yeah, the stripogram.
Men and women.
Oh, together?
Sure. Would you make more?
I'd probably be a good tipper, yeah.
Yeah, you'd send them in teams.
Right on.
That wouldn't work for me because I just want my pizza. I'm like, all right, get off my yard. It's a little cold out for that.
Oh, yeah. The pizza, the food thing. I forgot about that. Got distracted.
Like,
No, I don't think that would work for me.
I could see some real cheesy pickup lines. I hope my pizza's hot as you are. Nope. There you go.
There it is.
And then you can turn it up.
Gotcha. Where's my drummer?
The podcast that you're doing, though, I love the fact that it's more than just recovery. Obviously, you're going to talk about recovery, but everything that's going on the reservation. And what are some of the issues that many people don't know about?
Well, I mean, it is 2023, and there's lots of challenges, of course, with our community, just like the greater community out there as well. One of the things that I really feel passionate about that we need to talk about, that's not, it's kind of the gorilla or the elephant in the room, is the real challenges for housing. And, there's a lot of different arguments and viewpoints on that. But honestly, it's a real problem in Indian country. And there are solutions. I'm not a solution guy, and I'm certainly not a politician. But I think the more conversation we have, real conversation we have about that, and honest, open conversations, I think that's really a place to begin. And that's what kind of the podcast is going to be for, is like, let's talk about it. Let's not keep it a secret. And honestly, we can have a conversation about that without being negative, without having to involve politics. Because let's face it, those people have degrees and they're in positions for a reason. But the rest of us can talk about it. It's healthier. We bury stuff too much. That's one of the things recovery's taught me. So I'm looking forward to those kind of items.
And I would, just as an outsider looking in, I don't know what goes on, on the res. And as an outsider looking in, I would think that just like any other group or organization, like I don't go tell people, hey, 217's having a hard time doing this or doing that. I just put on a smile and, hey, everything's fine, Right. But it seems like, though, a lot of people would be like, hey, let's not talk about our problem. Like, well, kind of like you said, just kind of bury it down. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Just keep moving on. Nothing changes. Nothing gets done.
Right. Exactly.
And who cares? Oh, wait, did you hear the res is doing that? Okay. Well, maybe they're going to get some help. Maybe they'll figure it out. And
well, and the thing of it is that it is a sensitive conversation, sure, but it's not like, the rest of the world suffers a lot of this too. I mean, you can go to any inner city and you can see that. But if we're living in a world today that we have all the resources and everything available to us, then why is it that we've got families that are stacked up?
Till somebody says something about it, it's still going to keep happening. So
it happens outside communities of the native population, but it's still, it's a tough thing to see, a tough thing to witness. So, like I said, it might as well be a part of the conversation, and at least bring awareness. And I just don't like the fact that there's an elephant in the room. You know what I mean? And it's relevant. That's why. And
it seems like just the name alone and listening to it, and I think some of the stuff you're going to talk about, when people do listen, they're going to feel like, hey, I can take part in this conversation.
Exactly.
Maybe not at that minute when they're listening, obviously, because it's a podcast. It's like how it works.
Right.
But I'm sure there's going to be emails that they can, hey, I can email here, or hey, I can call Scott. I can talk to him. If I can't get a hold of him, because you're a busy guy, I can leave him a voicemail. Like there's ways that they can, hey, I want to come in and talk about the cat problem. Or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
How'd you know there's a cat problem?
Like, I'm tired of these kids floating their helium balloons in my tree, and you're like, damn it. Okay, we'll have you on next week.
The nice thing about what we're going to be doing here is that we have, in our 6-county service area, we have 4 offices spread out in those counties. So I can do this in Charlevoix, Traverse City, down at our Benzie office, and out here. Yeah. Looking forward to all that. It's exposure and it's outreach too at the same time, which is kind of what I'm supposed to be doing for the JOB anyways, right?
All right. Isn't it beautiful that your job is kind of like, it helps you and you get to help other people and you get paid for it? Like that's...
Yeah, that's the nugget. I got to remind myself every now and then, oh, by the way, you're actually getting paid for your LIFE for my life, because this is what I do anyways. It's just I'm pinching myself all the time that I'm actually getting a couple bucks to do it. Right?
Yeah, it's a blessing. It really is. And who knows? Maybe somebody listening to this podcast, I hope they would tune into yours and check it out. And especially, if they're part of the community, then they should have a voice. And I love that. I really think that, and I've said that like 8 times already on this podcast, but I really do love that about your podcast, because mine doesn't do that. I don't give people voices, but you do.
That's the idea. That's why I really appreciate this particular episode, and thinking of me and including this reservation conversation in the podcast that we're about to drop on y'all, and really looking forward to it. So thanks again for coming out and taking the time to sit with us for a minute, sit with me, and being a guide.
Thanks for letting me plug your thin little black cord into my computer so I can use your equipment.
Fits like a glove.
You just slid right in. right into my C drive. It did, though. No, but yeah, I think this equipment's great. And when were you thinking about launching it? Because I know I'm going to put together like a little video for you guys, like a Flava Flav video.
Yeah, so the target right now is, I think, the first week in April,
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting down to the crunch because it's got to happen really soon.
Yeah.
The problem is that the spring and summer are going to get away from us.
Yes.
And so March is going to be a short month because of travel and a couple of vacations here in the office and work travel. So targeting now that the gear is actually landing and here, just got to put it together in a couple more hours with you. Okay, 6-7 more hours with you, and then we're looking at the first week of April, probably maybe the second week to be realistic, but right in there.
Yeah, excellent. I'm excited, and then to have you guys out at UFAM, like I said, we don't really need an invite ourselves. We just kind of show up. I mean, it's a public place,
right?
We don't really need an invite. And my boy Adam Brothers, he's coming too. Dude, we're gonna have like podcast row.
Right on.
And last year they were like, "Hey, you can come," and I don't know. They wanted me behind the stage so people, if they went and talked, could come off. And I'm like, I don't really want to talk to those people that are up there speaking.
Right.
I want to talk to people out here in the crowd, and we could just make our own thing. Like we show up at their event, we have our own flags, Radio Row, or Podcast Row, or we'll call it, and
right, exactly. I'm down. Yep, there'll be a bunch of little tents and some fun people, a limousine. Yep.
Hell yeah, big old tents. Don't undersell it. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me use your equipment, man. And I'm really excited about Reservation Conversation Podcast, man.
Sweet. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. We hope you come back for our next episode.